Hi, my name is Hosker. I'm a product specialist with the Kind Professional, and I'll be showing you the MPC5000. This is our new flagship MPC. We have a much larger screen now with the inverted color, and we also have many new modes, and we've kept all the streamlined features that give users that strong workflow that's very famous for MPC production. We've also incorporated a lot of performance features too. I'll go into some of them right now. So in our mixer mode, we're all familiar with what our mixer looks like in an MPC. Well, now we have more faders and knobs, and we have 12 Q-Link controls. So every fader and every knob you see on the screen is going to correspond to the Q-Link control. And of course the Q-Links are automatable, and so you can set it up to record any motion that you make, and it will play back that as well. So I'll go ahead and do a quick little automation. So I'll go ahead and record some just mixer motion. So you can see on the screen that my faders are moving, and that corresponds also with muting or doing pans or the effects send. We also have a new effects engine with 50 effects, and we have 4 buses, and you can configure 2 effects per bus, and you can route effects 1 into effects 2 and effects 3 into effects 4, so you can have a total of 4 effects on one bus. There's a master EQ section and a master compressor section. Also in the master compressor we have an old school setting which uses bit reduction and filtering to give you a nice old school gritty sound that you're familiar with from the older classic MPCs. We have a 3 oscillator, 20 voice virtual analog synthesizer, and it's got its own engine, so it's not sample based. And I'll just go ahead and create a patch right now. This is how it comes up. This comes up as a very basic oscillator. So we have our and there's an arpeggiator, which we can latch. So I'll go into my arpeggiator screen, latch it, set it to 16th notes, and just... There's all our F buttons here correspond to the different editing pages in the synth. So if I want to go into my LFOs, it's really flexible. It's a really powerful virtual analog synth. There's of course our filter page and our VCO page for tuning and setting up different envelopes. So aside from the synthesizer being a new feature, we have hard disk recording, which streams back from the hard drive. So if you record, a really long session from a musician, it's not going to use up all your RAM. It's going to stream directly back from the hard disk. And the hard disk also gets its own mixer. I'll show you what that looks like. So we could just arm 2 tracks at a time and set our source to be any of the main outs, or the digital or analog, or if I go ahead and select main, that would be the synth that I could record direct. Go ahead and turn the synth down, back into the hard disk recorder, and it's got its own mixer as well, and of course you can automate that. You can apply effects to it, and I forgot to mention the synthesizer gets its own mixer as well. So if I go into my synth page and hit mixer, we have a channel strip for the synth, and of course you can bus the synth to the effects. We have improved the chopping, so we have a chop shop file format 2, which allows for stereo beat matched files. You can of course apply all the same type of chopping features that you would from all the previous MPCs. We have a track mute screen and a pad mute screen now, so now you can mute pads or you can mute entire tracks, and you can set up groups of tracks or pads to mute by hitting one key. So if I go ahead and set up a mute group here, now I can mute all 4 by hitting one button. Turn this off. In our program mode, we have some new features as well. Let me go ahead and get back to a drum program. So we're all familiar with the ability to put 4 samples on a pad. Now we can assign, so pad 2 here I have 2 samples. If I go ahead and hit window, we can set those samples to play either at the same time or we can have them cycle. So one will play after the other, or I can have them play randomly. So here I have that sound, and then on the same pad, vocal sound. So I'll go ahead and load up a couple, we'll go to an empty sequence. And load up a drum kit. I'll load up this one. This pad. So that's the kit that I've just pulled up. I'll go ahead back into my program. So I have 2 samples there. Hi-hat, let me find a snare drum. And another hi-hat. Okay, so those are all playing at the same time now. I'll go ahead and set it up to play in cycle. So I can play an entire drum pattern now using one pad. And we also have our mute groups, like we've always had, and we have a filter and LFO page for the program, and we've brought back simul mode. So now you can trigger multiple pads with one pad. So if I go back to the other program, so we have that sound, and that, and I'll put, say, those drums there. I'll go back in the program mode. Select that one, select that one, select that one. So I can trigger multiple pads with using one pad now. So I can create performances. And I have these set up right now to play in mute groups, so one will shut off the other one as I play. So I go ahead and turn on my note repeat. So, carry out performances now using the pads. I'll go ahead and pull up another program. And this one I took a bunch of scratch sounds, I set them up to chop in the chop shop, and I created a program which mutes out all the other sounds. If I hit one, and then hit another one, it's going to cancel it. So now I can do somewhat of a scratch pattern by hitting the pad. So I use that drum, and this is without even using the sequencer. So that's some of the performance features. So it's not just a studio piece anymore. This is great for live gigging. And you know, the hard disk recording, the synthesizer, 20 voices. So you can have 20 tracks with different synthesizers on each one. The extra Q-Link controls, the chop popping. Everything's been improved, and it's, you know, it's a great centerpiece to any studio or any live set. So, thank you.